My name is Sharp Eyes,
And I am Crucifix.
and you are watching another episode of
WeCast.
Where You Play.
And WeCast.
Exactly. Alright, tonight we are looking at a game posted on Reddit, actually. Our
Oh,
very
yep.
own Reddit.
Even though we have no ownership over it whatsoever, we still call it our own because we feel like it's part of us.
Absolutely. Tonight's game will be featured on Neoplanet S, LE, which stands
L
for Ladder
limit
Edition.
limited or ladder, depending on who you ask. Most people would say ladder, but some people who are uninformed might say limited.
Alright, good to know, good to know. Alright, spawning in the upper right-hand corner here, we have our lovely red Zerg, Joakc.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Ligmund, which everybody knows is the Tanzanian word for awesome Terran, and he is going to play blue color.
Absolutely, as blue is a very wonderful color in Tanzania.
It is. It stands for water, which they have not enough of, actually.
Well, it'll look like Ligmund here will be trying to win some water for his home country.
Hopefully it turns out well for him and his African tribe. Now, it looks like he is building a supply depot at 10, which I think is great. I think it's the perfect time to build a supply depot. So good job, Ligmund. You're on the right track.
On the right track indeed. Looking at the Zerg player here, we do see that he is building some drones.
Yeah, that's a good idea too from our Zerg player. I mean, it turns out that the more drones you build, the more minerals you can collect. So really, it's no-brainer. No-brainer there.
So basically, the Zerg player can actually win by building just drones.
If the Terran player built nothing at all, that would be a good strategy. So he has to scout for that.
Absolutely. It does look like the spawning pool will be going down here, so he's going for a pool first, which is very interesting in the ZVT matchup, as you usually want to go hatch first for that economic boost.
Indeed. Looks like the Terran player will be scouting here, getting some good information. We'll see if he makes use of that pool first info that he has just collected, or if he decides not to process that information at all.
Our SCVs are
And it does
under
look like
attack.
the SCV will be getting harassed here by the drone. Will this drone go down, or will the SCV reign supreme?
It looks like the SCV will win. The drone stuck it out to the very end, which is something you don't see very often. But he did delay the supply depot, so maybe he can cause a supply cap problem for the Terrans. We'll see. Some people call it supply block. I call it supply cap.
I honestly think that the SCV's fusion cutter is actually pretty overpowered.
Some people say that, especially because it does 45 points of damage against light units. Not really, but that would be pretty awesome. You could do the best SCV rush in history if that was the case.
Very deadly blows.
Looks like the hatch did go down after the spawning pool, as predicted, for the Terran player, and he's now building even more drones to, and some Zerglings to saturate his main and get some map control with those early Zerglings. And those come out before, so right now, right now it is 2 Marines to 2 Zerglings. So it looks like the Terran player is in the lead for at least this small, tiny period of time.
Small, tiny period of time indeed, as that is the only period of time in which he will be able to defend, as the Zerg here will be playing pretty aggressively over here with these 2 Zerglings. I mean, these 2 Zerglings can literally just tear apart the Terran base.
I don't think that's true, but now that he has his factory lifted like this, there is a teeny little period of time where he could sneak past the barracks while the factory is trying to switch and maybe kill 1 SCV. So that would be.
Will we see this happen?
Don't think so. As in, yes, absolutely not. But the Zerg player is doing a good job with map control, he's going to know when the Terran player gets his natural expansion, and he's going to know when the Terran player moves out, because this Zergling's going to die or escape when the natural goes down. But I would assume that he's not going to move this other Zergling until the Terran player actually moves out onto the map to see that that's the case. So I actually really like these 2 Zergling positions. It looks like these Hellions are going to move out into the map, which is a good play from the Terran player, and most likely going to kill this forward Zergling. And but positively for the Zerg player, he's going to get that info. Right now, it looks like. Oh no! Oh yes, he will get the. He will now know that there are Hellions on the field, coming to his base momentarily.
Alright, going back to the Zerg play, we actually do see that he is responding to that by tossing down one Spinecrawler, but will one Spinecrawler and one Queen be enough to hold this assault?
Honestly, yes. Like, one Spinecrawler, one Queen can hold off for Hellions, no problem. Especially if you have two Queens. Depends how the Zerg player micros, but really, as long as he doesn't do anything too stupid, he has quite the proper defense for these four Hellions, because they are very bad against buildings, against Queens, and against Spinecrawlers. But he's probably going to lose all these Zerglings for no reason. He does now have a fifth a Hellion on the field. Those Zerglings did go down, and more might even go down as well if he's not careful. Hellion, he has enough to defend without the Zerglings. I'm surprised he's using them to try to harass.
Yeah, those poor Zerglings didn't have to die. I mean, they pretty much just ran in front of the Queens, and then you got roasted.
Really, the only thing that's taking damage here is the Evolution Chamber, which isn't going to go down anytime soon. So I feel like the Zerg player is not only overreacting to this harass, but is using way too few Zerglings at once and slowly feeding the Terran player Zerglings bit by bit.
Absolutely, looks like the Zergling micro could be a lot better.
It looks like this Queen is going to try to kill some of these. And here comes the big Zergling harass. Let's see if the micro is good from the Terran player. Looks like it is. Kills a good bit of those Zerglings, and the rest now will die. So all those Zerglings have died, and a Queen goes down.
Very painful.
Really, the micro from the Zerg player could do better. He should be hanging back a little farther. Maybe the spot that he built this evolution chamber was a little misguided, because the Spinecrawler can't hit these Hellions as they're attacking this evolution chamber, especially now that he's researching missile attacks level 1 out of it. I would have liked to see the Spinecrawler a little with a more forward position so that these Hellions couldn't harass the evolution chamber, causing him to lose all those Zerglings in the first place.
Radio.
Meanwhile, lots more Hellions are coming to the battle. He now has let's see here, 6-9 Hellions ready to do some damage to the Zerg player, along with one Marine and 2 more Hellions and some Marauders Marines. So it looks like all the rally points for the Terran are going to be right at the front of the Zerg base, which is a very aggressive position, but honestly not too bad move from the Terran here.
Absolutely, it does look like the Terran player will be moving again, kind of getting rid of that chamber. But it looks like the Zerg army will be moving out here with the Roaches reinforcing the Zerg. Will the Zerg's army be enough to hold this up?
Well, the Roaches are very good against Hellions. I mean, Hellions are not good against armored units, and Roaches are really the answer to Hellions. But right now, there don't seem to be quite enough Roaches. But as soon as he gets a few more out, I don't think it's going to be any problem at all to drive all these Hellions back to the Terran base.
Absolutely. Going back to the Terran player, we actually do see that he has tossed down his expansion.
Indeed.
It seems to be a little late, but...
And he will lose an SCV here. Let's see if he'll lose another. He does do the attack command on those SCVs, but the Zergling is in a good position, and he is able to kill that Zergling without losing another SCV. But meanwhile, these SCVs are now on...
oh my god, and it looks like another engagement.
Oh, wow!
Over here.
Yep. Definitely. It looks like those Roaches are going to move out and drive those Hellions back to the Terran base as we thought they might.
It actually does look like some Marauders are in this unit composition as well. Do you think that the Terran player could have handled those Roaches with these Marauders in the back?
I really don't. I mean, there were at least 2 Roaches to every Marauder, and Hellions really aren't helping that much to that battle composition. So really, if you think about it, it was kind of like it's kind of like if you went against 16 Marauders, 16 Roaches with 5 Marauders and expected to win. I really don't think I think he did the right move there by pulling back.
What if the Roaches were unupgraded and the Marauders had Stim Pack and full upgrades?
Well, in that case, I mean, still though, 5 Marauders isn't too much, and if the Zerg player was to focus on each one, I think he might still come up on top. But
What if
but it would
there
be
were
close. Okay.
what if there were 10 medevacs
If there were 10
healing you?
medevacs, 5 Marauders, 3-3, and Stim-Pack against 16 unupgraded Roaches, then I would say yes, go ahead and take that fight.
And I win this argument.
I do think we do have a big Roach push out here against this. Oh, and they're going to catch this little Terran Force out of position. Decides to move back. He will lose another Marauder. He does have two medevacs out in the field. Let's see what happens here. Does activate Stim Pack, getting back in the corner and pulling drones to try to... Oh, he needs to attack while the drones are there to get the maximum use out of sacrificing all those drones. Tries to pull his Hellions around the other side, but I think there's just too many Zerg units here. We'll see if the Terran player can hold off or if this is going to be GG right here. Does pick up, is going to move back into his main base where he can defend a little better. Do you think that this is going to be it for the Terran player?
I think this actually might be it here, as the Roaches will be 1-1.
Definitely.
And the Terran player is actually 0-1 here with the upgrades.
Yep, the upgrades are down. The Zerg player has a better army. Mass Roach is very good against Terran, especially in the, in the early game. I guess this could be the early game, or the mid game, or the late game, depending on how you define it. But in any case, the Terran player is probably going to go down here, as his supply depots are going to get taken out, which really it doesn't matter right now, because he's at 28 out of 110 supply. He has plenty of supply to spare, but not enough production to make anything that's going to kill all these Roaches in enough time.
Going over to the Terran Expo here, we actually do see that he is trying to make some headway with some minerals, some mineral gathering here, but
Right.
it doesn't look like he'll actually be able to use all this mineral.
The minerals don't matter at this point. His barracks are getting taken out. That's the only way he could ever make units. The Starport is gonna. I'm surprised he hasn't GG'd already. Maybe he's just trying to stick it out, see how well he can do, but it's over. The Zerg player has mutas, he has lings, he has roaches, he has everything you'd ever need to kill this Terran player.
Maybe he actually thinks that these medevacs will actually be able to carry him through.
He even lifted his Starport to take that off and build, the game-saving Mega Banshee that both air is indestructible. And there's the GG.
There is the GG.
So good game from the Zerg player. Built those Roaches once he saw the Hellions. Drove them back to the base. Built more Roaches because he knew that the Terran player had mostly Hellions at the time and just pushed out. And as he was pushing out, he reinforced. And I thought that was a big play by the Terran player.
Yep.
I mean, by the Zerg player. Sorry.
Very good counter play by the Zerg player, as reacting to those Hellions with Roaches was the right decision. And
Indeed. And the Terran player did a good job taking his third, but he didn't make use of the minerals that he was able to collect by expanding, and therefore was not able to produce enough units to combat the Zerg's aggressive play. And if he had done that, maybe he would still be here alive today.
Absolutely. And
as you know...
Oh, it looks like Crucifix will be lagging a little bit. Crucifix, are you still there? It looks like Crucifix has disconnected from the call. Alright. My name is Sharp Eyes, and I will be signing off.
So will I. I'm Crucifix.
And it looks like Crucifix will be joining us again. Hello, Crucifix.
Hello, and signing off.
Alright.